Has Tyler Buchner, Brian, shown you anything in limited time, but playing meaningful time against big opponents that either gives you concern that he's not ready for this or gives you optimism that he is ready for the shoe?
Well, he's a playmaker. I think when we saw him last year, his first non sort of coming off the bench in a kind of rotation, just run the ball kind of role was against Virginia Tech last year, right? And he comes out in the first half. He plays just one quarter, goes 5 of 8 for over 100 yards, and turns a 10-0 deficit into a 14-10 lead, right? That's the positive. Well, then Virginia Tech goes in at halftime, makes adjustments. Tyler had been doing, backup reps. It wasn't running the whole offense. They make some adjustments, and he struggles in the second half, right? So I think that game was one of those things where you say, he handled that stadium, that crowd, and Ohio State's familiar with how loud that place can get if Virginia Tech's playing well. And he handled that environment well. It was more of the rolled coverages, the things that a young guy struggle with. So I think he showed the ability to handle the moment. I don't think that's going to be the question for him. And of course, Lane Stadium is loud, but it's not the Horseshoe, right? But it's at least an opportunity to do that. It's now about, okay, can you read the defense? Can you make plays? Can you do those type of things? And I think those are the things that Tyler's going to have to learn. But the good thing is when you have a young quarterback that can make the dynamic plays that he can make with his legs, it eliminates some of that need to always be processing information. Because it's like if he's struggling, hey, just go call a couple runs and let him do something there to maybe slow down that pass rush or maybe to mix up the coverages or whatever the case may be. And I think that's something that I think Tommy Rees is going to have in his back pocket to say, look, if we need to get him comfortable, we can always do a couple read zones or some quick RPOs to let him get into the mix and get him into the flow. And hopefully you're able to run the football. I think that's going to be the big thing is Notre Dame's ability to get Tyler Buchner comfortable in that game is going to have a lot more to do with what you do with your big guys up front against Ohio State. Notre Dame didn't run the ball very well last year. Ohio State didn't stop the run very well last year. Well, they've both got new leadership, right? Notre Dame's got Harry Hiestand now. Ohio State's got Jim Knowles. How will those two teams adapt? I think that's going to be the question. But Notre Dame's going to have to run the ball to take that pressure off Tyler Buchner. But the nice thing for him is he can be part of that running aspect. I think I was told by someone at Notre Dame that they averaged like 8 yards a carry last year on inside zone with Tyler Buchner in the game because you have to respect his ability to pull it and run it. And, we'll see how Ohio State's going to be able to handle that. And we'll see if Notre Dame can block it up and get him free and design ways to get him in some matchups where he can take advantage of that athleticism.
It will be interesting to see how Ohio State handles that inside run with their 4-2-5, and do they have to adjust to a 4-3 or something like that to get more people in the mix there? And yeah, I'm just looking forward to and then what happens in the second half, because the adjustments that both programs are going to be going through